evening. This is Janet from Drive Sober, and I want to talk to you about two paths. If you look back on your life, you often will have had a juncture where you've had to choose which way, whether it's what to study, who to marry, what job to take, big decisions. So, I want to talk to you about a big decision about alcohol. And I've made a little analogy here because I love analogies. So I'd like you to imagine that you're facing a big forest. There's forests that are very densely packed with tall trees, look intimidating. So you look at the forest that represents the rest of your life, and you see two paths. And you can't see where either of them goes because it's pretty dark in there. So let's give these paths a name, shall we? One of those paths is called Drinking Alley, and the other path is called the Sober Road. I think you already know where I'm going with this, but bear with me. So your decision at this moment is, which path are you going to take? Let's imagine you take the Drinking Alley. I imagine you're already a drinker, or you wouldn't be watching this. So you look at the Drinking Alley and you think, oh, I'll go down that one because after all, I just carry on doing what I'm doing now and I don't have to change anything and it'll be dead easy. And indeed, it will be easy for a while. But let's just fast forward down Drinking Alley. Imagine you could see into the future. Say, let's take 5 years, shall we? We could be even more dramatic and take 10 years, but we'll stick with 5 for now. But what is your life going to look like if you're still drinking what you're drinking now? Well, you imagine it will be the same in 5 years' time. Well, I can tell you that you'll actually be drinking more because that's how it works. We've got many people in our community that started on 1 glass a night and ended up on 2 bottles a night. I mean, that's what it does to you. It's an addictive substance. So you'll be drinking more, which means you'll be more dependent. So it'll be more difficult to make a change. You'll be further down that slippery slope. You'll be more anxious because drinking alcohol is like pouring gasoline on our anxiety. And you'll probably have more lows. You'll be more depressed because alcohol is a depressant. It might numb our sadness for a couple of hours, but then it comes back in spades. And 5 years down the road, you might have health issues as well. I mean, you could be lucky and dodge that bullet, but there are many health risks that come with drinking alcohol, mental and physical health risks. 7 types of cancer are proven to be linked to alcohol now, and more than 60 diseases. I mean, that's a lot. It's toxic, this stuff, trust me. But more importantly than any of that is the fact that your life probably won't have evolved in any way, because that's what alcohol does to us. It keeps us trapped. It saps our motivation, and we get stuck in this kind of Groundhog Day life. I mean, I'm speaking from experience here. I've travelled down both roads, by the way, and I know which one I prefer. But I'll tell you more about that later. But we get stuck if we carry on drinking on a daily basis. We get stuck in Groundhog Day. You've probably seen that movie, Groundhog Day. If you haven't, it's about a guy who just goes through the same day over and over again. And my days when I was drinking used to involve waking up with a headache, thinking, ugh, but feeling just so used to feeling tired and fed up that I didn't really notice. So another day feeling like that. And I would also say to myself in the morning, I'm not going to drink tonight because I overdid it last night as usual. And then by 5 o'clock, I was already fantasizing about that first glass of wine, which would of course evolve into more glasses. And it's the same old. And then I'd wake up the next day, headache, oh well, whatever, not drinking tonight. And you just get absolutely stuck. And you lose interest in stuff, you lose interest in discovering new things, and you don't have much time anyway because, well, in my case, I was busy planning the drinking, doing the drinking, or recovering from the drinking. And if you think about, a hardcore alcoholic, their life gets very, very narrow because all they're interested in is drinking. that bottle has become their best friend. You know, they don't really want to connect with people. They don't want to go out and see new things, explore. They just want to stay in their narrow little life. And of course, they become more and more dependent. And none of us want to be like that. So that's, miserable old drinking alley. Oh, what about the sober road? What about the sober road? Well, that's hard at first. It really is. You know, it's a few months of hard work. If you've got any level of dependence, you're going to have to work on changing that habit. And that is difficult. And that's what we help you to do here at Tribe Sober. And it's harder than staying on that same old drinking track, because if you're in drinking alley, you don't have to make any changes. But here on Sober Road, it's difficult for the first few months. But keep at it, keep at it. You know, if you have a slip up, get back on track. Keep at it for, if you can keep going for 6 months and build up some serious sober stretches, serious sober time, your whole life will begin to change. It will begin to open up. It will begin to evolve, which it never would have done if you were still drinking. You'll have more creativity, you'll have more energy, you'll have less anxiety, and you'll probably experience the unexpected joy of being sober. That's the title of a book by Catherine Gray, which is really worth a read. But I just love that title because I certainly wasn't expecting there to be any joy in sobriety. To be honest, I was expecting it to be a rather dark and miserable place, but it's turned out to be anything but. And we had a members Zoom cafe yesterday, and the number of people there that are now, approaching a year sober, and there is so much joy in their faces, in their words. It mind-boggling, it really is. So let's stay on that sober road, that sunlit. Imagine it full of sunshine and bunnies, if you know anything about Claire Pooley's bunny blog, as opposed to that dark, kind of narrow, dirty alley, the drinking alley. So let's fast forward on the sober road, because that's what we did on our drinking alley. It's only fair. But here's the exciting thing about taking sober road. You've actually got no idea what's going to happen. You don't know what your life will look like. I mean, you can be sure that you'll be happier and healthier, but your life will evolve, because sobriety is an adventure. Sobriety is a superpower. And once you've nailed sobriety, it'll give you such confidence. You'll feel like you can do anything. You can tackle anything. So that's my take on those two paths. Now, which path will you choose? Now, frankly, they're both hard. And we have a saying here at Tribe Sober, we say that we have to choose our hard, okay? So the sober road is hard because those first few months are really difficult. I would never say anything otherwise. If you've at any level of dependence, you will find those first few months difficult. But it involves doing the work. And here at Tribe Sober, we help you. We show you what the work is and we help you to do it. But a few months of effort will change your habits. And then your reward is a whole new life. Whereas if you go down the drinking alley, you're going to become more dependent, more anxious, more depressed, probably get health problems. And what's the saddest thing is you'll never really enjoy your life. It's because you're just numbing out. Maybe you avoid some of the lows because you're numb, but you're also missing out on the highs, missing out on the joy. And I think that's why we discovered that joy in sobriety, because we've been missing out on it for years because we've been drinking, we've been numbing it away. So which one are you going to choose? Well, in my humble opinion, as they say these days, I think you should choose that sober road, because drinking alley is super hard. And here's the thing, that being difficult, it will last for the rest of your life. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life in drinking alley with things getting worse and worse? Whereas sober road, yes, it's tough for a few months and then you've got a whole new life. So please, guys, choose sober road. Sober road leads to peace and freedom. And I can guarantee that I'm 7 years sober now. So choose life, join tribesober.com. Thanks for listening.